Hey folks, so 7 days ago now, Offset, the rapper who was previously married to the rapper singer Cardi B, had an interview where they discussed his music among other things and other things about his work, and then they asked him a question about whether he would like to get married again, and his answer was no. And then they asked him if would he recommend for others to get married, and he said no. And I've been watching a lot of commentary online coming from the ladies, um, which seemingly just that they can't accept the fact that this man has made a decision about his life that he doesn't want to get married, and number two, that he is exercising his First Amendment rights, advising other men that they should get married. They just seemingly just can't accept it. I I find it so bizarre. I'm gonna link the full link to that video um, on the comments below, and I'm gonna highlight which sections of that interview because the interview is like 40 minutes long, and that discussion about marriage is like a couple of minutes. I just don't understand in terms of what it is really that the other gender wants really from us. Here is a man who had this very public feud with his then wife, allegations of infidelity on his side, and also allegations that she cheated as well. Fine. There were other allegations of infidelity in the past where Cardi B came out and said, "I'm a single woman." And this entire time, he never really came up to say anything about what was going on in his marriage, except at one time when he accused her of having sex with another man while she was pregnant with their last born child. And then after that, he just vanished in terms of discussing anything about his relationship, as most men will do. And even in this instance, he said nothing about Cardi B. He didn't even mention her name. He said nothing negative about her at all. The only thing that he spoke about when it comes to marriage, he spoke about himself. And he said, for his damn self, he doesn't want this thing called marriage. And it seems that women just can't accept that. And I'm just wondering, what do you guys really want? What do you want? Like this is a grown adult who is autonomous, has his own autonomy, has his own mind. Who is he hurting by saying that he doesn't want to get married again? Who is he hurting? It reminds me of the South African DJ Black Coffee when he got divorced from his wife a couple of years ago and had an interview with a podcaster in South Africa. And they also asked him if he were to ever get married again. And then he said that no, he won't do it again. And then he went through an explanation in terms of having realized, in terms of who he is, he realized that this thing is not for him. And I often find that men are able to go through experiences like that, like marriage or relationships, and they can just make up their mind and say, you know what, maybe this thing is, I'm not going to say that this thing is bad. I'm not going to badmouth it. I'm not going to say that it is an evil thing. It might be good for some other people, but it's just not for me. And I found that men have the ability to do that and not go into a process of shaming other men who want that thing. But it seems that the other gender doesn't seem to have a conception of how that thing works. It's actually similar to how when I'm having conversations about marriage with some of the women that I know, it's often because right now, like where I've been in terms of in my life and how I've been processing this thing of marriage, I've been leaning more towards that. I don't think I want this thing. And it's seemingly that women just can't accept the fact that I have my own mind. I can make up my own decision about what it is that I want, which potentially could change in the future, maybe, maybe not. But I don't need you to try to convince me why this thing is good for me when I'm saying I don't want it. What really seems to be the problem? Like, yeah, so this issue about Offset and his view of getting married again, I found it to be very interesting because I've been having these interesting conversations with the people in my life about it. And the church that I go to, where we're going through a marriage series as well. And at the end of that series, it seemed to me that it sort of dawned on me that, you know what, I don't think that I want this thing. I don't think that I want it the way that it is done in the West. I don't think that I want it the way that it's done in South Africa, the way that it's done in the United States of America, the way that it's done in Europe. I don't think if the version, the kind of version of marriage or the predominant form of marriage that exists in Europe, in the US, in South Africa, is not a marriage that I would want for myself. I mean, I've even said that, like, sometimes when I look at my married friends, all of them, by the way, like, which is a lot of people, and that will include my married close associates. So it's not just friends, it's also close associates. It's people that I've known for many years who are married. Because sometimes people can hear what me saying this, and then they assume that I'm talking about their marriage. But no, I'm not necessarily talking about your marriage, or I'm not necessarily talking about your marriage alone. I'm just looking at it as a whole in terms of I'm seeing a lot of you lot married, and I look at it and I say to myself, I don't think I want that. And I'm not saying that the people that I know who are married are miserable or that they are having horrible lives. From what I gather, they are actually living quite healthy lives, both the men and the women. Um, and they have relative happiness. When I say relative happiness, I mean that, like, none of us is completely happy, whether you are married or single. Like, so they have relative happiness and relative contentment and relative satisfaction with their lives. It's just that when I look at it, I just I don't think I want that for myself. Yeah. So when I saw Offset's interview, I was able to be like, you know what? I get you. I really do. I really do. Yeah. Um, yeah, but I would really like to know what you guys think about that. Are you married? Are you living in the West? Like, are you living in South Africa or in the US? Which is the majority of my viewers are from those two countries. Or are you living in Europe or Australia? I have quite a few of viewers from there as well. Are you married? Do you want to be married? Is that what you want for your life? What are your thoughts about that sort of thing? What are your thoughts about marriage in general in the West as it is? Is that something that you would strongly recommend to people? Is that something that you would recommend with caution? Is that something that you would strongly say avoid? Um, what are your views? Are you married? Are you divorced? Are you seeing someone in a long term relationship? Are you engaged? What are your thoughts on that? But um, I think more than anything, for me, the most important thing for me right now in my life is to get the bag. That's the most important thing. Get the bag, be successful, live a life that I'm happy with, live a life that I want. I think that's the most important thing for me. all these other things, I don't know. There's also the thing for me where, as a man in the West, it doesn't seem like that you can actually ever do anything right, or that you can ever win. There is especially when you are in a relationship or you are in a marriage, which is actually one of the reasons why I don't want this thing. Because it seems that there is always some complaint that you are not doing something that you are apparently supposed to be doing, regardless of what your efforts are, and what your um, actions are. It has come to a point now in the West where there are terms about low effort or bare minimum, where it's like, in my view, you do these things that cost you so much, not just in terms of money, but in terms of effort and energy. And then the person who is receiving those things that you are doing for them or on their behalf says to you that it's low effort or it's bare minimum. Things like that, for me, make it seems to me that there is no winning in this thing. And so I just want to leave it like at the most generic and most general of ways, that regardless of what I do, I can't win. That's one of the reasons for me why, when I look at it and say, you know what, I already have so much that I have to do, obligations that I have to meet, obligations which most of the time are quantifiable. And for instance, at work, there's an assessment, there's a general assessment that you get given that is acceptable, that you can know whether you are doing well or not. It's not sort of subjective, and it doesn't change arbitrarily, and it doesn't depend on feelings. It depends on the effort and the work and the input that you put in. And and when I go home, I don't want to go home to be assessed based on arbitrary and often changing standards that are based on moods and feelings. That's really one of the things that I don't like. And I also find that a lot of the people that I know who are married, they seem to be tired. Like, like, you all are so tired. I'm just like, you know what? I don't know if I want to be this tired in my life. I know you all tell me that no, there's joy that comes with it. No, I don't know if I want the joy. I want to not be tired. That's what I want. And and mind you, I can work 15, 16-hour days. I can work 16-hour days, 6 days a week. Sometimes I can work 16-hour days, 7 days a week. I'm fine with that. But it's this emotional labor that doesn't end that gets all of you so tired, and you're like chasing shadows. I don't know if that's what I want for myself. Yeah, but anyways, I know my thoughts were a bit like scattered and all over the place. I didn't really like go specifically in terms of what it is that I don't want. I did that on purpose. I just wanted to leave it as on as generic level as much as possible. That was actually intentional. Yeah, but with that being said, let me know what you think. Is this something that you like, you want for yourself? And let me know what your experience of it has been if you're already in it. Cheers.